Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Blu-Roy Movies. It's Sunday morning and time for the weekly watches. Yes, we're back on Sunday after last week's change of direction with work, and it was on Saturday. We're back to the regular spot. So, we've got 7 titles to be getting on with, one a day. Let's crack right on with it and see what goodness has been going on in Blu-Roy Towers this week. First up, I started off with Dorothy. Now, this is a film that Larry sent me over because he knows that Mrs. Blu-Roy loves horror films, so I think he saw this one out in a charity shop and thought of Mrs. Blu-Roy and sent it over. So we watched it one evening, and I didn't have very high expectations of this, to be honest, but it was actually pretty good. Now, it says on the front, the modern day exorcist. Now, I wouldn't say that particularly. If I was to pigeonhole it, I'd say a cross between The Wicker Man and Split, but obviously not as good as those two films, but it's decent. It stars, now I've got to be careful with this because I always get mixed up, Carice Van Houten. Now, I always have trouble with her. I always get her, Caprice, and Denise Van Houten all jumbled up name-wise. I tell you what, that'd be some dinner party though, wouldn't it? Having them three round for dinner. Wow, wonder what would be on the menu. But yeah, she stars as a psychologist, and she's called out to this Irish island. That's another thing that surprised me. I thought it was going to be an American film, so I was quite pleasantly surprised when it was Irish. She's called out to this Irish island to talk to this girl on the front, Dorothy, this teenage girl. Now, she was caught one night, she was babysitting, and when the parents come home, she was abusing the child. And she starts delving into the psyche of this girl, and it starts taking a sinister turn. And at first, you're not sure whether she's got multiple personalities, a la James McAvoy's character in Split, and she is really quite good with the voices. Like, she's really quite good young actress. I've never heard of her before. Or there's some sort of spooky goings on with she's been like possessed by ghosts, and this island, it's got a bit of a secret they're hiding, so that's a bit like The Wicker Man. Well, I got that vibes. And slowly and slowly, the story of what's gone on in this island unfolds. And really decent little horror film. Never heard of it before, and it was actually quite difficult to find it on IMDb, so I think it's quite obscure. Carice Van Houten, she does a good job in it, but I always like her in whatever she does. I've seen her in a few things, most notably Game of Thrones, where she's like the Red Witch, and Black Book, the Paul Verhoeven film. She's also very good on that. So yeah, I'd recommend giving that a watch to the horror people. Yeah, pretty decent stuff. Next up, I watched Day of the Outlaw, Andre de Toth's, and I think it's the only other film I've seen of his. And I was watching Warren's film, Warren's latest videos, monthly watches, Goose's movies, and he'd seen this one, and he spoke so highly of it, and in much better than I ever would about it. If you want somebody to hear somebody talking properly about a film, go over and check Warren's video out, where he talks very succinctly about this film. And I thought that I've seen most films in the Eureka Masters of Cinema series. Now, I knew I had this one to go, and I think I've got another one. Run Man Run, I haven't got round to. And also there's a double pack with a couple of John Ford silent westerns, which I'm quite intrigued to check out at some point. But so yeah, I thought I'd give this a go. And Warren wasn't wrong. This is absolutely brilliant western. Filmed in 1959. It stars Robert Ryan and Burr Lives. Now, Ryan, he is a rancher, and his ranch land is being taken over by homesteaders, and they want to put barbed wire up to make gardens and stuff like that, and it's really affecting Ryan's cattle. So he heads into town to have it out with the homesteaders, and it looks like it's going to get serious until they suddenly get even more bigger problems than that, when Burr Lives leads his group of outlaws into town, where they're holing up away from the cavalry or hot on their trail. And it's one of these films that keeps you on the edge of your seat, and you're really worried about what these outlaws are going to do to the people in town, because they're not a very nice bunch of people, and the only person that's holding them together that's got some semblance of like right and wrong is Burr Lives' character, who is wounded himself, and if he dies, then his guys are going to run amok in the town. So the local, well, he's not a doctor really, he's a vet. He's tasked with trying to keep Burr Lives alive, to keep themselves alive. And yeah, really fear-inducing, really edge on the your seat stuff, as Warren alluded to in his video. And absolutely awesome film. Brilliant Western. If you've not seen that Western and you love your Westerns, give that one a go, because it's absolutely wonderful. Like, again, thanks Warren for finally pushing me in the direction to watch that film. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Next up, and from 1967, Wait Until Dark, with Audrey Hepburn, Alan Arkin, and Richard Crenna, who you'll probably remember from the Rambo films. He was Rambo's captain who comes back to try and save his skin, and the one who says, "I'm rescuing you from Rambo," not the other way around. This is really great. Another taut, edge of your seat film. This is all about Hepburn's character, who's blind, and she has inadvertently been given a doll stuffed with heroin that's been smuggled into America, and then the bad guys want it back, but they can't find it, and it's all about these three crooks trying to con Hepburn's character into worming their way into her flat so they can look for it. Crenna was good in it. Alan Arkin, for me, he stole the show. He master of disguise. Remind me a bit like Peter Sellers type character, when it is always good when he dresses up as different people in films. Yeah, wonderful film. Really glad I managed to get a hold of a copy of that. Really enjoy that. Again, another really taut thriller. Brilliant. Next up, I revisited a classic film, Dario Argento's Suspiria. The word masterpiece is bandied about far too easily amongst the movie community, but this one's just that. Absolutely awesome. The atmosphere, the colours, the reds and the green, and the score by prog rock bands at Goblin. Again, gives you this feeling of unease all the way through the film about this dance school that's harbouring a secret. And I won't say much more, because if any chance you haven't seen Suspiria, you really must grab a copy and give that a watch, because it's absolutely wonderful stuff. My favourite Argento, probably. I haven't seen all his filmography, I've only seen a handful, but I'd say that's got to be the best so far. Suspiria. It's going to be the pick of week and pick of probably any other week. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. And I followed that up with, guess what? Suspiria. The 2018 remake by a director whose name I always struggle with, Luca Guadagnino, maybe. Which I've got a bit of a patchy relationship with his. Absolutely loved that Challengers that he brought out this year. Still the best film I've seen this year. Bones and all, wasn't too struck on. Another one I think Larry sent me over, actually. So thanks again, Larry. Now, I had pretty low expectations of this. I know Sam's not a fan, and I don't think Stuart was a fan. So I went in not really expecting much, but again, surprised. I loved it. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It goes in different direction to that. It's basically the same idea story-wise, but done completely different that. But this one had a completely different feel. And again, it's shot well. It looks great. The score again is fantastic by Sam will be shouting his name at me now, but he's the guy from Radiohead, I think. Is it somebody my musical knowledge sometimes is appalling, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's got Dakota Johnson from the 50 Shades films, Maya Goth, the rising star who's getting more stellar and stellar as time goes by. A little part for Chloe Grace Moretz, but Tilda Swinton steals it as she does in most things she's in. She's absolutely wonderful actress. And I didn't realise till I was having a bit of a delve into the features afterwards that she actually plays a male character as well, and I had no idea. I just thought it was a man playing an old man. But again, yeah, I won't give away the story. Oh, there's apart from one scene which has absolutely made me wince. Dakota Johnson's, I wanted to say Fanning then, Dakota Johnson's character, she's doing this dance, and every time she does a dance move in it, there's another girl in another room, in a mirrored room, and every time, like, Dakota, like, gives a high kick, then her leg mirrors it, and it goes on for ages, and it's absolutely brutal. Her body's coming apart as Dakota's doing the dance in one room, and this girl's body's being thrown apart in another room. Yes, not for the faint of hearted. It's really, really gory. I think more gory than the original. I think that's more atmosphere horror than gore. That has got some gore, obviously. But this one is quite gory, and yeah, really liked it. One that definitely hold on to into the collection, and I'll be watching again. Wonderful stuff. It's been a good week so far. Next up, my old mate Alfred. My second favourite director, I'd say. That might be a good video. Top 10 directors. What do you guys reckon? Would you like to hear that? If so, let me know down below, and something I might consider. But I watched Saboteur from 1942. Starring Robert Cummins and Priscilla Lane. Now, this is essentially a retelling of the 39 Steps, but it's when Hitchcock had started his Hollywood career and left England. So he had a bigger budget and it's more polished. And it's a Hitchcock, it's going to be great, isn't it? It explores the wrong man theory, which Hitchcock, time and time again, it was something he liked to explore, the idea of somebody being accused of something they didn't do. Robert Cummins' character, he works in an aircraft factory, and when it is set ablaze, Cummins wrongly gets blamed for it, and he goes on the run because nobody will believe that it wasn't him, so he has to try and clear his own name. And this includes infiltrating the terrorist gang that started the blaze in the first place. And yeah, again, it's Hitchcock. It's wonderful. It's edgy as stuff. It keeps you guessing all the time, unless you've seen it before like I had. But if it's first time, it'll keep you guessing as what's going on. And it's got an absolutely marvellous end scene at the Statue of Liberty. That's really one of my favourite Hitchcock scenes. Brilliant stuff. That might be another idea for a film. Films with scenes at landmarks. God, being creative with this one, guys. You've got my creative juices flowing. Ooh, yeah, great stuff. Not one of Hitchcock's better known films, but a good one nonetheless, because all Hitchcock's good. And last for the week, a film, again, I didn't have very high expectations for, but another one that blew me away was Grateful Dead. A Japanese film. Now, this is all about this character on the front. She's called Naomi, and she's had really hard childhood. Her mum buggered off when she was young. Her dad basically wasn't interested in her. He took on a mistress and didn't give a crap about her. Her sister went off and got married and left her with a lonely childhood that had long psychological impacts on her. And the way when she become an adult was to try and get over these was she'd hunt out people. It was as screwed as her and lonely as she was, and she'd keep a diary about them and basically spy on them and watch their misery to make their misery to make her life feel better. She starts watching one old man whose wife has died, is alienated all his family, so he's alone in the world, and she's looking through the windows with binoculars and he's sobbing himself to sleep. And this, in her own weird way of thinking, is making her uplifted and realising that there's people worse than her, and this is making her sort of happy. Well, this carries on for a while until some volunteers for the local church go in and start reading Bibles with this old man, and his life starts turning around. But our character Naomi, she's not happy about that because she's plunging her back into despair, and it leads to murder, torture, and all sorts of goriness. And this is twisted, like a lot of Japanese films. This is twisted. If you like your twisted films, give this a watch because it's really, really twisted. There's violence, gore, there's torture, there's sexual violence, so if that's not your thing, steer clear of it. Yeah, really icky at times, but I really enjoyed it. What does that say about me? I don't know. But yeah, good stuff to end up the week. So that was it. I'll tell you what, I think since I've been doing these weekly watches, which is quite a good few months now, and you guys seem to like them, so thanks very much. I think quality-wise and enjoyment-wise, I think it's the best week I've had so far. I think I'll struggle to top it. 7 films, 7 that I all enjoyed. I haven't had to call anything crap or anything like that, which maybe some of you guys like it better when I do call something crap, but there you go. If that's what you like, I'm sorry. Maybe next week I'll hit a turkey, you never know. Well, thanks very much for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you like what I've done here today. Give us a subscribe, go on. It's easy, you just click the button. I'll catch you all in again in a week. We'll think of some video for in a week. Any suggestions for videos, anything you'd want to know about, again, let me know down below and I'll see what I can do. Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend. You'll be good, and ta-ra.